Greetings. My name is Nazmul Roosevelt of Newsweek.com. Today, I'm going to go over Marathon, the playtest that I was a part of for about 12 hours, and the collector's edition that Bungie sent me. It's something I wanted to dive into because this is a very interesting new direction for Bungie. Before getting the items in the box and showing you all, I want to emphasize something up front. The collector's edition does not include a physical disc or a digital copy of the game. You will need to buy that separately if you pick this up. And I think that's worth saying up front because people will assume it's a collector's edition of a video game that would maybe include the game. In this case, it doesn't. I know that has happened. It's not unheard of, but just important for you to know. So, if you want a great primer before diving into any version of Marathon, I strongly recommend starting with Mandalore Gaming's retrospective on the original trilogy. Those videos will give you a solid understanding of the tone and philosophy behind Bungie's early work. After that, the cinematic PlayStation release is a great second step. It features musical guests Poppy and Son Lux. It manages to introduce each shell's personality without any spoken dialogue. The cinematic leans into the tension that defines Marathon, being hunted, making quick decisions, occasionally dying to other players, or if you're playing like me, the NPCs. There are moments of body horror that feel appropriate for the setting, showing the construction of the shells and the shell weaving process. There's even the underground section shown that resemble the interior of something living. But let's go ahead and walk you through the items inside of this collector's edition now that you've seen me open the box. First, we have the centerpiece of the bundle, which is the 1/6 scale Thief Runner shell statue. It includes LED lights that only activate when you plug in a USB-A to USB-C cable that is included with the collector's edition, but the statue stands at 10.63. Yeah, that's about right. 10.63 by 6.5 by 6.5 inches. Weighs, it's a little hefty. It's about over 4 pounds, but it's a resin and PVC statue. But if you notice, the packaging itself is layered to mimic Sekiguchi Genetics' shell weaving process. So as you unbox it, it walks you through how the thief shell is deployed into matches. So according to Bungie, the statue depicts the thief standing over a rival runner they have taken out in the waters of the map Dire Marsh, which if you played the playtest, you would know that that's the high risk, high reward area. And she's kind of posed like she's, in danger. But smaller items I can show you. You got a collectible silkworm miniature. There's an embroidered iron-on patch and a set of 6 art postcards that highlight environmental art and runner imagery. The edition also includes this lenticular artwork on the packaging, so as well the box is designed to serve as a display. But the digital items included are the 0-step emblem and the 0-step background. If you buy this, it'll be emailed to you. There's nothing included in the box that is going to do anything for you if you put it inside your PlayStation. I guess you could technically plug the thief shell into your PlayStation via the USB-A and plug it in via the USB-C, and you kind of have like a little friend now that's sitting with your PlayStation. But overall, I think this is one of the most interesting collector's editions I've ever come across. The absence of the game, of course, I do want to mention that again, is probably going to be a big limitation for people. Since the game needs to be purchased separately, I believe it's $40, which with this collector's edition being around $180, that puts you around $220, $230. So that's if you don't want to just have the statue and you actually want to play the game. But I think the items themselves are well chosen. The shell weaving theme, I've learned more about since playing the game and paying attention to these cinematics that they've been releasing. I think the world building that Bungie is focusing on is the strongest aspect of Marathon that's going to set it apart from other extraction shooters. But like I mentioned, the cinematics they've been releasing, there's a lot of violence in them, a lot of tension, and the way conflict escalates and then can diminish in short bursts is reflective of what it's like to play the game. Even during the one cinematic, there's a very clever moment where you hear the footsteps of an incoming runner, and it's like synchronized with the beat of the soundtrack. Small detail, but it's reflective of how the sound design is tied directly to gameplay. I can't imagine playing this game without voice comms and headphones. But a little bit more about the stress test. When I played the stress test, the dark future Marathon portrays uses this retro future aesthetic that I really dig. It's very artificial, but very readable. Like, clarity wise, it actually works in its favor compared to modern competitive shooters that can be too cluttered in their realism. Dire Marsh was my favorite part of the playtest. It's this higher risk, higher reward map, and so looting was far more dangerous on this map. Atmosphere was incredibly oppressive in places, and it almost felt like many times I was walking through something organic. And this especially becomes intense when you matchmake into a session with people who have already played thousands of hours because they work at Bungie. You're not beating those players in combat, and the best strategy is going to be to disengage and exfiltrate as quickly as possible, because this tension comes from being able to have weapons and items better possibly than the other person, and that's going to give you a huge advantage if you have thousands of hours in the game, or you're probably very good at it. You've probably been retaining a lot of the weaponry and items that give you a significant advantage. But anyone watching and wondering if the collector's edition is worth it, hey, after this, you should know exactly what to expect. You want the statue, you like the artwork, you like collectibles, you like the interesting lore of the shell weaving, this is built for you. This is something that stands, like with a lot of the marketing with this game, to flesh out the thematic side of Marathon, and they're going to have a lot of free content. You're expecting a bundle, though, that includes that game that will have free content, then please, again, know that this collector's edition does not include the game. But like I mentioned before, if you want to experience the world before launch, start with Mandalore Gaming's Trilogy Retrospective, then watch that PlayStation Cinematic. Those two things will almost give you everything about the spirit of this reboot, and they set the tone for what you just saw here, the collector's edition and my gameplay. Again, we're going to have a review for Marathon on Newsweek later this week. Please, if I see you out there playing Marathon, say hi. And always respect your triage. That's Nazmul out. Have a good one.